Hello guys, welcome to this lecture on Introduction to React. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Devasi Gamani and today we are going to learn a lot of things on React. Today we are going to learn these 8 topics that I have mentioned here. First topic is what is React, then we will go to its problem and a solution to it, then why React and a few more things about React and how it works, then what is a component-based system and what is a virtual DOM. Let's go to the first topic. What is React? React is a JavaScript library. What is a JavaScript library? A JavaScript library is a collection of pre-written codes and functions that we can use in our web application development. And for the description of React, React is an open source JavaScript library for building web user interfaces, and it is developed and is maintained by Facebook. Initially, React was developed by Facebook in the year 2013. Later, it was released to the public as an open source software. It is a JavaScript library that contains a lot of functions and pre-written codes for creating sleek and good-looking websites and web applications. It is mainly used for creating user interfaces and used by many as a beloved front-end development tool rather than a back-end tool. Now comes the problem. To explain this problem, let me go to the starting period of the website development. In the year 1990s, websites were made of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and they were worked like this. This is the client, that is your browser, and there was a server where the web pages were contained. The browser has to send a request to the server in order to get a response from it. The request sent by the client is received by the server, which identifies the request first and then creates a response for it. In our case, our response would be the web page that we see on our browser. This web page would be rendered by the server on our browser, and whenever we need a change in the website, we have to send another request to the server. The server receives this request and would look into it and then change all the things that is needed to be changed in the web page and send another new copy of this web page to our browser. This thing took a lot of time and performance and lot of memory to do so. It was a problem. It was a problem of ancient times. Even after this, the websites started to evolve, which caused a huge headache to the servers. Let me tell you how the websites evolved. How websites evolved. It was due to more interactivity. As time went on, more interactivities were added to this websites, like adding of animations, and a lot of things would be going on the session both in the front end and in the back end. This caused a lot of increase in the size and the introduction of fully fledged web application. In the earlier times, websites were used for getting information from the internet, but they were never be able to. They were never was able to be compared with the native applications of Windows like Microsoft Office or Photoshop because they were not able to do such kind of complex actions like them. But later they were evolved into fully fledged web applications where now we have a lot of websites to do the same things that a normal Windows application or a Mac application can do. And more interactivity causes more JavaScript. To add more interactivity, we started to write more JavaScript, which increased the size of the file, which delayed the time taken for the web pages to be rendered in our browser. More increased complexity, more bugs. That is, due to adding of more JavaScript, the web pages become more and more complex, and due to this complexity, more and more bugs are imminent. Then comes manual application of DOM. First of all, what is DOM? DOM refers for document object model. I can explain it to you in simple words. That is, document object model can be explained like this. A web page can be viewed in our browser, but if we inspect or go deeper into the code, we can see it in the form of an HTML file. The HTML would look like a document where each and every element that is needed for this web page is present. This ordered structure of objects in the form of a document is called document object model. The solution. React came as a solution to this problem. React solved a lot of the problems that came due to evolving of websites. For example, due to addition of more interactivity, more complexity to the web pages, the performance of the web pages drastically reduced. But React solved this by increasing this performance with the introduction of JSX. JSX is a combination of JavaScript and XML tags, which improved the performance of web pages drastically. It also had a lot of more improvements to these ancient websites, which we will see in this later slides. React. More information on React. React is an open source JavaScript library for creating user interfaces. We have already read this in the definition of React. Let's go on to the next line. It is a library, not a framework. First of all, what is a library? What is a framework? The name of the thing, it explains itself. A library is a collection. It's a collection of pre-written codes and functions that can be used in a web page to add a lot of features. What is a framework? It is a structure of a web page. It gives a structure to a web page or a web application. We can use the framework to give structure to our web application. Used for handling view layer of application. That is, while developing an application, we have three layers. That is, model layer, view layer, and handling layer, control layer. That is, a model layer is where the data is managed, and the view layer is how we represent our website in terms of our appearance. Then the control layer is where the user interaction, like the input and output from the user, is taken. React allows us to create large web applications that change data without reloading the web pages. Actually, the problem that lies in the prior stages of websites is that for each and every changes that is needed in the website, it has to be rendered again and again by the server. But React eliminated this by using server-side rendering and creation of single page application. That is, a lot of pages are not required to create an application. A single page where each and every component can be changed in order to make an appearance that it is of multi pages. The server-side rendering also implemented here. That is, the initial rendering is done by the server, but later on, changes done to the web pages are simply rendered by the client. That is client-side rendering. Then why we have to use React? It is component-based. I will explain this to you in the later slide, but let me give you an intro to it. Component based is that when we go into a website, we can see a lot of things going on, like an header, sidebar, and a lot of footer, etc. These are all can be separated in components and can be used in various ways. That is why it's called component based, which can be created separately and added to a web page at the end of the creation. It uses JSX. JSX refers to JavaScript and the combination of JavaScript and then use of XML or HTML. In our terms, we use HTML and JavaScript in React in order to create web applications. Then it uses Virtual DOM. Virtual DOM is another DOM that is created on top of a browser DOM in order to reduce the re-rendering process in terms to increase the performance of a web page. Then it could be combined with any tags. Let's take React as a front-end tool. We can use MongoDB, Node.js, or even a Firebase as a backend to completely create a web application. Thus, React can be used, and React can be used as any tech stack. That is, even if you're creating a web application on different stack, we can use React in order to complete a simple part of this web application. Even then, React will work. Then mobile application development with React Native. React Native is based on React. It is used to create it is used to create mobile application rather than web application. The more very important feature of React Native is that you can write a application code for a mobile application and you can release it in both iOS and Android without an hassle. How it works. Now let's get into the terms how React works. Actually, priorly we seen that the client would interact with the server, but in React we can see here the React application is worked as a client and it interacts with an API, and for each and every data change it sends a request to this API, which give one data response right here itself. And without even communicating within the server, it can do all this. The initial rendering is done by the server, but later on the React client would communicate with our API in order to make all these changes. It is a components-based system. Let me explain in detail what is a component-based system. We can see a diagram here. Here we can see here we have a header and a sidebar and a banner here and some elements here and some elements right here. So it looks like a Canva to me. And here we can see the header. Header has a lot of function like a profile picture and name of an application and other small details that we need. And for the sidebar, it is used as a navigation bar to go from one page to another. And the banner here also has a lot of functionalities, showcasing a lot of categories and features that we can use. And the top here would show us our own projects that we currently working on by ourselves, and below that would be templates that we can work on. Actually, using React, we can simply create this header at a separate function, and the sidebar is a separate function, and this banner is a separate component, and this as a separate component, and this templates as a different component. And we can simply add this to another component and make it as a whole project. This is very helpful because yeah, React is a combination of multiple components. As I already said, we can use multiple components to create a web application. And the most very important thing is components are reusable. Sorry, the components are reusable. That is, if I'm going to use this my project component here and another page of the same application contains the same thing, like I have to use my project to be rendered there, I can simply call this component. That's why it's called reusable, and it also has other reusable properties like using. If we create something in React.js, we can also use it in Vue.js and other similar JavaScript frameworks and libraries. Then the next thing is virtual DOM. Let me explain in detail what is a virtual DOM. Actually, in prior stages, we were only having browser DOM, and for each state changes or any changes on data, we have to communicate with the server in order to update this DOM. It caused a lot of performance issues and used up a lot of resources and took a lot of time. But then React introduced virtual DOM. Virtual DOM stays on top of browser DOM. For example, let's say this is initially our DOM, which is created by React, a virtual DOM, and this thing is what happens after a state change. Initially, this starting virtual DOM and the browser DOM would be the same, but whenever there is a change happens, it changes from this to the new virtual DOM where the changes are done. But instead of we are writing everything to the browser DOM, like this and this nodes are the same, this and this node are the same, this and the changes only happen between these two nodes and these two nodes. Thus, instead of rendering the whole website or reloading it again, we can simply change or update this two nodes to the browser DOM in order to reduce the actual resources needed in order to make the re-render. That's how React works, by re-rendering a few small components instead of you reloading the whole project itself. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.